just rolling with this now. There you go. YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I hope you guys are all well. Obviously, changes overnight. More things happening as far as coronavirus and everything going, but I'm not going to keep talking about that specifically. There's enough information out there about social isolating and all that sort of stuff. All I will say is please do your bit. I was out today to go to the supermarket and just realising that we're still not really taking it that seriously. So please don't be that person that goes, oh yeah, hey, everybody should be social isolating, but I'm good because it's only me. I can just have 6 friends over for a few beers because there's only 6 of us. If everyone does that, we're fucked. So let's get a little bit more serious with that. But what I want to talk about today, as you saw from the title, is realising we're full of shit. What happens in this scenario? I was talking to a couple of really good mates today. One, Maury, Big Moz, who's just on here. And just talking about how this really shows people up for who they are, these sort of situations. And guys, ask any questions, any comments, whatever you want to do, punch them out on here so I can answer them for you in these lives. Otherwise, I'm probably only going to talk for 15 minutes and just ramble on my own shit, which I am expert at doing, loving the sound of my own voice. So when I was talking to this, one of the boys today and another mate of mine today, I said, it just amazes me how it really shows out our true character. And we just start to realise just how full of shit we really are. And when we look at what's going on around the world, what's happening with coronavirus, the way that we're behaving, the way how selfish people are becoming, then I think it's really obvious that we've got some massive issues. And we are now in this, I think we're level 2 at the moment, lockdown. I had a look at some stuff from New Zealand, and they, I think, are going to level 4, which is pretty much everything's locked down except emergency or essential services, supermarkets and health, police, that's about it. And I think we may well get there in the coming days. Regardless, we are spending a whole lot more time on our own. We're spending a whole lot more time in isolation, either with our relationships, with our families, on our own, whatever your scenario is. And there's going to be a whole lot of challenge and shit comes out of that for one reason. We're going to realise how full of shit we are. We're going to realise for how many years and for how long we are pretending to be something we're not, how long we have been pretending to be a version of us that's just not true. And when you're not in each other's pockets 24/7 in a relationship, if you're not in your own head 24/7, where you're at home, and I live on my own, so the girls will come to me more often, no doubt, coming into school holidays, hopefully, so I'll have them around. But I spend a lot of time at the moment, the last 3 days now, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday especially, I spend a lot of time on my own, a lot of time on my own head, a lot of time catching my own fears, doubts, insecurities, that negative self-talk, a lot of time really assessing who I am and go, am I happy with the person I am? And as egotistical as it may sound, I am. Because I've done freaking 17 years worth of work on this stuff. So my the thoughts that are in my head, the voices, the self-talk of mine is reasonably positive. And I can catch the stress, I can catch the grief. I'm actually looking at opportunities in this for me to be able to develop a whole lot of new online content I've wanted to do for a long time that I'm now forced to do because I'm locked in my home. I'm self-isolating through choice. I don't need to be. But I'm like, why would I not be? Why would I be out cruising around doing things if I don't need to? I'll go out this afternoon and exercise. I haven't trained today. As a little sideline, this realising who we are and realising how full of shit we are. When my routine's out from actually getting up in the morning early, meditating, journaling, going to the gym, doing all that, when time is my own, I realise just how full of shit I am in the sense of it's harder, it's not hard, for me to stay committed to the things that I say I want to do, like meditation, training, etc. So I did my 50 sets of stairs Saturday, which is pretty massive. Went for a big 6-hour walk Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, I've done absolutely nothing. Now I'm okay with that. But today I was like, wow, I need to start putting some structure around this stuff. Because I realised how full of shit I am in the sense that I'm not intrinsically motivated to get out of bed and train every day unless I've got a structure and a routine around it. You may well realise how full of shit you are because as you sit in your home with your husband, wife, spouse, partner, whatever, kids, other people, you're not going to have time to escape and be able to just spend that time on your own where you know who you really are, but you're pretending to everyone else that you're someone different. I'll guarantee you a lot of the perfect selfies disappear off Instagram, a lot of that sort of shit. I'm still seeing a fair bit of that sort of crap, and I sound like such an old man, but just this whole thing of, here's me self-isolating, look at me, and it's, perfect hair, duck lips, makeup. and that's probably the guys, that there are so many people that I think are going to really have to look at who they are. And it's going to be really challenging because we've got nowhere to hide. Right now, because of the level of stress, pressure that we're under, because of this self-isolation, the lack of ability for us to distract ourselves, other than obviously with social media, news, all of those things. But you're not going to be able to go out and have lunch with your friends, go out to dinner, go out and, whatever the thing is that you may want to do. You don't get the opportunity to do that anymore. So the challenge for you is going to be, you've got to really start to understand shortly who you are, how much of your shit you've been running away from. As you sit quietly in your own mind, and I implore you to do this and use this as an opportunity, but as you sit quietly in your own mind and look at what's going on, you may not like what you see because there's going to be a whole lot of fear, doubt, insecurity, a whole lot of shit that's happening for you that you may not really like so much. So when you get a chance for you to understand that this is the stuff that you need to be focusing on to be the best version of you can. I just got a message here on Insta from Matt saying, hope you're well, mate, and I'm great. Like I'm actually feeling really good, Matt, and there's a couple of reasons. One of them is that I know who I am. I've done work for a long time to know who I really am. I'm very comfortable in the person I am. I know I'm a decent human being. I know I do the right thing, and I'm very aware of what my doubts, fears, and insecurities are. I'm very aware of my own financial fears and insecurities that have been in my life for all my life, and that comes from, parents and mum and dad, a whole lot of other things. I'm very aware of it. So I've looked practically at what my financial situation is and how that is, and and I'm going to be fine for a few months. I'm also knuckling down to develop more content, do new things, try and get to a point where I can actually generate some income, help some people do some amazing stuff through this process. And I'm actually going to be really okay because I know who I am. I realised years ago that I was full of shit and did a lot of work to change that, and I still realise now that I'm still full of shit. I still realise that there's fears, doubts, insecurities that I mask. I still absolutely understand that the person that some of you might perceive me to be may not be the person I am 100% of the time. And it's not the person I am 100% of the time. I've had people message me often and go, oh, mate, I wish I was as confident as you, or I wish I had this, or I wish I was as motivated as you. And I go, not all the time. I don't do a lot of videos that go, hey, here's me, struggling with this or being challenged by that. I talk about it in my podcasts and videos, but in the midst of extreme challenge, I'm not hitting a live video and then talking my way through it because of that level of vulnerability. But we all have it. One of the things that you're going to become very aware of as this time progresses over the coming days, weeks, and potentially months, is there's going to be a whole lot of your own personality you may not be very happy with. There may be a whole lot of things in your relationship that you're really not happy with. There's going to be a whole lot of cracks in your family, in your intimate relationship, in friendships, in all sorts of stuff that because of the magnifying glass and spotlight that is going to be shone on all of these things, we're not going to have anywhere to hide. We can't go out, can't go to the pub and get on the gas and smash ourselves. We can't go and do whatever the other thing it might be that helps you get out of it. We can't, disappear to the beach. We can't go smash ourselves at the gym. We can't do whatever the thing is because we're going to be stuck inside. And I think the absolute reality is we're going to be stuck inside a lot more very shortly. I could be wrong. It's just a gut feel. Now, when you do that, you're going to have to ask yourself, what is the part of me I love and what's the part of me I really don't like? And you have got an amazing opportunity if you are somebody who must stay in their home, if you're isolating for whatever point, and as the information's been given to us, don't go out unless you have to. I've been out once in 3 days, and that was just to go to the supermarket earlier. And it has given me a lot of time to understand, there's still so much of my personality and my habits and things that I want to work on and change. Still so much of my way I react to different things that I want to put my effort and work into and evolve in. And hopefully you guys are doing the same thing. What a fantastic opportunity to sit down and start really looking at some personal development material for you. For you to sit down and actually work really hard in your relationship and build a strong foundation because you're locked in the freaking house together. You're going to be there anyway. You might as well do some work in it. We are starting to realise just how full of shit we are because through this whole process of this coronavirus lockdown, you don't have anywhere to hide. So the practical things that I want you guys to look at and really work on through this process is this. Start comparing today to last Wednesday. Start comparing, sorry. Did I say comparing or preparing before? Who knows? Start comparing where you are today to where you were a month ago. What were you doing? Were you just in the Groundhog Day, hamster on the wheel, up, work, home, 2 glasses of wine or 3 beers, bed, up, do the same thing? Live for the weekend because I hate my life. Have you been somebody who's been living in a relationship that they really don't like? You may well realise in this scenario right now that the relationship you're in sucks, and you've known it sucked for a long time, but neither of you have had the courage to do anything about it, as in change it or leave it. And whilst you're locked in this environment for the next 4 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it may be, that's going to become extremely challenging. So how do you do that? I saw a meme today that someone sent me that was a guy and girl, and the woman is looking at the man and goes, "For God's sake, C word, stop blinking so loudly." And this person thought it was funny, and I looked at it and went, you know what? It's ironic, because that is exactly what's going to happen. I see the humour in it, of course. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to happen in your relationships. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow, on the live tomorrow. It's going to happen in our friendships. It's going to happen in your family relationships. It's going to happen in the people that where you can't get to see those people to maintain the level of connection you had, or you can't go and engage in that thing that you've engaged in for ages to pretend that you are really emotionally connected to people. There might be, you know, sporting teams, could be whatever, who knows? But you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to very quickly get to the realisation that potentially your relationship sucks. Potentially the relationship with your children's really fractured and not great. The relationship with your own parents, friends, whatever the case may be. As you're unable to catch up with people for coffee 3 times a week and gossip about what other people you know are doing, you may realise that there's really not a lot of foundation and basis for the relationships you have in your life. That's going to be sad. But use this as a positive opportunity for you to actually do something about those things, understand where your life's really at, and then try and do something to make. Then you'll be 3 months behind the 8 ball financially, 3 months behind the 8 ball with whatever other things they may be. Jobs are going to come back quickly. You know, there's a whole lot of stimulus money in the economy. So we're going to go through a tough time, but it's not going to be this dire, really, you know, damaging and destructive stage we're in now. Things, you know, hopefully in 3 or 4 weeks' time, if we do what we're supposed to do, we will start to see some semblance of normality start to return. Hopefully by that time we've developed new habits around social distancing and not being such egotistical, narcissistic, selfish arseholes where, oh, but I want to go to the beach, so I'm going to do that. Whatever the case may be. But use this time to realise just how full of shit you are. Another nice, more politically correct way to do that is use this time for some self-awareness. To develop the self-awareness to understand who you are, what you do, why you do it. Look at your life and actually ask yourself, is my #blessed pretend Instagram, Facebook life real, or is it shit? And I would suggest to you, it's probably shit. Most people live a life on social media that is a far cry from what their real life is. If you're filming your life at the moment while you're locked in isolation, what's it look like? Maybe it's not great. Maybe you're on your own and really lonely. I've realised through this process just how many amazing connections or deep connections I do have with people, because even though I haven't seen anyone for 72 hours, or very few people, I'm getting people call me all the time, message me, make sure I'm okay. I'm reaching out to people, and there's a really strong bond. One of the guys who's a great mate of mine that I was in the police with, I was talking to today, and at the end of the chat, we had an awesome conversation. And at the end of the chat, he's like, "I love you, mate." I said, "I love you too, brother." And I'm like, wow, him and I are pretty emotionally connected, and have got more so over the last few years. But I go, wow, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that me as a 50-year-old man, him as a 48-year-old man, can say that and be really comfortable in that, because that certainly wasn't who I was 10 years ago. Look at yourself through this environment and go, realise where you're full of shit. Realise where you're making up the things in life to try and impress other people. Realise that if you actually come back down to the foundation of who you are, which you're going to get pulled down to in this scenario, whether that's through financial stress, whether it's through the isolation, whatever that's through, when you get down to the point of actually understanding who you are and realising who you are, you may not love that, you may not be happy with that, totally understand, but at the end of the day, you are going to be able to make some changes in it. And what better time to be making those changes than now? We're all going to have a lot more time on our hands. We're not going to have anywhere near as much time to distract ourselves. We're not going to have anywhere near as much time to pretend we're happy when we're not. It's going to be really hard to go and get, new lip fillers put in and get more steroids for guys and get pumped up in the gym, and women to go and get their duck lips done, or vice versa. I'm a man of equal opportunity when it comes to bagging people for stupidity. Both of those things are probably going to become less important as you're not sure if you can pay your rent or your mortgage. Both of those things, how you look, is going to become far less important to you as you realise that you really live a pretty lonely life because you haven't put the work in. This is an amazing opportunity for us all to really get to know who we are. Now, I hope I haven't destroyed your happiness through this little Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube live, but I want you to look at your life and ask yourself, if I come out the back end of this in 4 weeks' time and I've taken full advantage of what is in front of me, which is time and opportunity and ability to really look at myself and do some work on myself, what are the things I want to change? Is it around your confidence? Is it around how judgmental you are to others? Is it around your relationship? Is it around your friendships? Is it how you parent your kids? Is it around the shit that really matters? I was talking to another great mate of mine yesterday, and I said, it's funny in these times, I used to be someone who loved buying new motorbikes and all this other stuff, and I've been, not like that for ages. Well, I said, it's funny, I couldn't give a shit about any of that material stuff right now. I look at my relationship with the girls, which is super solid and really connected. Relationship with what I call my creative family, and a couple of other girls are like daughters to me, they're partners like sons to me. Rach, other friends that, goes out in ever increasing circles of people I'm connected to, and I go, you know what? I would much rather have the amazing relationships and connections I have than a garage full of motorbikes. What are your motorbikes? What are your things that you filled your life with rather than real connection? Because while you've got time to sit and do nothing, jump on FaceTime, jump on the phone, start talking to the people who you really care about, and start rebuilding those foundations of those relationships. Start actually doing something to create the life you really want, doing something that you really, really want to change in your life so that you can live a better version of yourself at the back end of this. It's going to be very easy at the back end of this scenario in 3-6 months' time, certainly by the end of the year, to be able to go, you know what? I am a very different person. I'm a fundamentally different person. And the corona epidemic, the COVID-19 epidemic of 2020 changed my life positively. That's what happened with me with PTSD, depression, and suicide. That's what happened with me with divorce, with family court. All of those things gave me a great opportunity to grow and be a better person. This is an amazing opportunity for you to grow and become a better person. Or you're going to come out the back end just as full of shit as you were before, go blissfully into your life the same way you have, and in 1 year, 10 years, 50 years' time, when the next COVID-19 disaster hits, you'll be just as ill-prepared, just as fake, and just as full of shit. Really want to realise just how full of shit we all are, and then do something about changing that for yourselves. So, guys, that's hey, Jason, I see your comment there saying, destroyed note made me aware of where I can change. Yeah, awesome, mate. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Be aware of where you can change and what you can do differently. This is going to be tough. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be an amazing opportunity for you to grow and learn more about yourself, be a better person. Anything I could do for you guys, shoot me a message. Go to thestronglifeproject.com, shoot me an email. I've got podcasts, got 1,470 episodes or something up. 10 minutes a day that you can listen to for free, obviously. Just search That Strong Life Project podcast. Where all good podcasts are. But above all of that, look after yourselves, look after each other, work out how you can be a better person. Simple. I'll be back in the morning, probably about 9 or 10 a.m. I'm going to start doing these in the morning about 9 a.m., I think, because it's probably more effective than doing it in the afternoon. If you've got any questions or any topics that you want me to talk about, please send me a message and let me know. Otherwise, live your best, look after each other, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. See you later.